Let's do this. Good morning, and welcome to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is the show where we talk about everything.
What the hell?
Well, almost. From today's news, culture, entertainment, real life, real people, and the stories everybody's talking about. And no, we don't do it in some tiny glass bubble. We do it the only way we know how. Real and completely unleashed.
Fire the hole, fire the hole, fire the hole.
So lean in and let's go right now.
Give me a hell yeah. What? About how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's
y'all. It is Wednesday, hump day morning. Man, I missed y'all. It's been a long break weekend. Then we had a holiday. I am back. 104.3 FM is the Pirate. We're also on the live stream at Facebook, at Rumble, at YouTube, dual output, Unleash Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold, 2 R's, 2 L's. That's where you can find me. Today is Wednesday, May 27th. And of course, the year is 2026, y'all. And for me to say what the hell's been going on is a understatement, because we all know that the culture, the news cycle, and everything else in the country and the world is moving at record speeds. So I hope let's start out this way. I hope you had a fantastic weekend and you remembered what Monday, Memorial Day, was all about. It's not one of those holidays where you really say Happy Memorial Day. It's where we honor and remember. Anyway, it was a long weekend. I got a lot of needed rest, you guys. Got my voice back. You know, sometimes I have to fake my voice with some extra hot coffee in the mornings. So, again, thanks for listening. As always, you guys support this show. Not only do you support the show, you support 104.3, the radio station, and my podcast are all back with record-breaking downloads over the last 7 days. Now, you may or may not know the story. This show was another show called Unleash Entertainment Talk. I had, close to 1 million downloads, which went away after the other show went away. So I literally just got all my podcasts back up on Apple, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, and iHeartMedia. And our first 10 days there, like 3,000 or 4,000 downloads. That's pretty freaking rocking. And most of those downloads came from the state of Illinois and Colorado, and I don't know why. But thanks to Illinois and Colorado for supporting. And, of course, Mississippi, which is where I'm located, had the most downloads. But there was, some from other countries, but Illinois, Colorado just topped it off. And quite a few in California, because California is such a cesspool at the moment. 6:34 a.m. right now, Central Daylight Time. And it looks like, and Donald J. Trump also said, quote, he will be signing the new bill that daylight savings time will be year-round. Now, they've told us that before. As a matter of fact, they've told us that 4 or 5 times. So we shall see. We shall see. And with that being said, let's open up the show this morning. Let's get this show shared on Facebook. Let's get this show shared to all of your friends, groups, etc. that want to discuss the country, that want to discuss we are the people and we are free in the land of the free. So let's talk about all that as well. If you got something you want to get involved with the show, you can do it on one of the chat boxes from one of the wherever you see the show, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. Or you could text me directly at the text line, which is 601-918-8409, 601-918-8409. The text line for this segment is, in fact, brought to you by Mobility Medical on Lakeland Drive. MobilityMedicalInc.com, MobilityMedicalInc.com. So let's get this puppy rolling. And I do mean that. Let's get it rolling. And I want to hear you guys' opinions. Your opinions are, to me, more important than my own opinions. I like to do this show, but I like for people to be able to speak their mind, give me their opinions, because on this show, your opinion counts. There's so many shows where they shut you down before you can get your opinion. And that's just not cool. So let's try and get as many opinions out there as possible. Not for me to be popular or for you to be popular, but to keep us all in check and do our own research. These are all needed opinions. And in my opinion, they're needed opinions. So before we get started talking about weekend events and all of that stuff, let's dive right in. We all know where we are now. We're still ridiculous at the gas pump. We're still really, really struggling at the grocery stores. Beef prices have increased by 15% since last year. A lot of that is because so many people are eating beef. That's the truth. And I'm not going to stop. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not going to stop eating a big old juicy burger and a big steak. The people that do that, more power to you. I'm not one of them, though. I never have been one of them. All right. So, obviously, there's something big going on today, Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. We'll open the story up, open the lines up on that one first, because it's so important to all of us moving forward on pretty much anything to do with this country. So the Iran deal is in motion. You remember Trump was supposed to go to Camp David today, and those plans were changed due to weather. So they're all coming to the White House. They've been called over to the White House. But there is some good news from that region. You know, if you're a positive person instead of one of the negative whiners, easing as the U.S. and Iran hammer out details on a potential, and we all know they lie, agreement. But the goal is to, quote, shut down nuclear threat and guarantee the Strait of Hormuz stays wide open with no tolls and no games. Now that is what the real deal is. Mark Rubio, who's been doing a fantastic job since Trump was elected, I mean, literally blown my mind. He's been doing so well. I saw Trey Yingst early this morning. discussing what's happening today.
The United States and Iran are still being discussed. Tension across the region has certainly decreased because there is hope of a deal between these two countries that would avert a return to war, but also address Iran's nuclear program and open the Strait of Hormuz. Regional officials say that implementation of an agreement is even more important than what is written in a possible deal.
I think there's strong alignment and agreement on what a preliminary draft should look like. I think that, like anything with something like this, it's going to take a couple days to settle on, even down to the disagreements over a word, sentence. So we'll have to work through that. If there's going to be a deal, we're going to have to work through that. But this is, it's either going to be a good deal or there isn't going to be one.
And still, we've said this from the beginning, the Trump administration, Trump, Rubio, everyone involved. There's either going to be a deal, even though over one word or one sentence, like Mark Rubio just said, one word or one sentence can change it all. There's either going to be a deal or no deal. Deal or no deal, even if it comes down to those words. That, in fact, is what that's what we're facing. That's what we're facing with Iran. Since we're restreamed to different chats, I try to read them as quick as I can get them. But peace through strength works. Trump hit the mine layers hard, kept the strait open for the world, and now Iran's coming to the table with a no weak Barack Hussein Obama style giveaway. This deal better lock down their nukes for good. America first with Trump, not the fake America first. Not the fake America first with Trump. That's who's making this happen. And we're going to get into the fake America first, as we always do, because they're out there. They are out there. And, this is a fair question. Okay. Now, I don't know if this person is left, right, or independent or doesn't vote, but Marcus from Colorado, as we were talking about, listening to my show, if Trump, being Donald J. Trump, the president, if his strength really works, then why does Iran keep pushing back? Why? Well, these people, ladies and gentlemen, these militants, they have been born and raised to fight to the end, to martyr themselves. It doesn't matter to them. They have no conscience. That's why. So I don't think that they've ever been scared as far as humans, because they don't care. Yeah, the United States is evil to them. Okay, death to the United States has been embedded in their heart and soul and mind since they were born. I'm not saying that's right, but that is the reason that they keep pushing back. Okay, that's the reason. Anyway, but all hands are still on deck in the background. Don't think they're not. Anyone that thinks that we're just kind of pulling back, not pushing, pulling back, and all hands are not on deck. Yeah, right. Right. Keep thinking that. But we all know that they've never been able to be trusted. And honestly, if Trump is also wanting to bring them in on the Abraham Accords. Now, if that can be done, ladies and gentlemen, that will finish the job. Finish the job. If, and of course, it's a big if. I'm not guaranteeing you anything. And Trump is not guaranteeing anybody anything either. He's saying, we're going to get a deal, or guess what? We're not. And you know what happens if we're not. And he's made that very perfectly clear. Even with all the Democrats wetting the bed and the rhinos wetting the bed because they're not making money off the big war, because that's how they make money. They want him to go back to war. Of course they do. Contracts, ladies and gentlemen, military contracts. It's been going on for decades. Wake up. But I've never thought that Trump really, just wants to go out and start mutilating people. I mean, he just does it. But if, in fact, no deal is made, consequences will arise. And that's the simple 100% fact. Period. End of discussion. Literally. All right, we're going to get into a story in this segment leading us up to the top of the hour, and we'll get back to this. But things change in this country, and my God, do they change. Another rhino, one of the biggest, John Cornyn, was completely annihilated in the polls and then completely taken out in the election and primary election in Texas last night. But Ken Paxton came in and just beat him by 25 plus points. And we knew that was going to happen. If you're true MAGA, and I'm so sick of people saying that MAGA's dead, in fact, they're not. And we're definitely going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about that. But I'd like to get y'all's opinions on something else that's going on in the country. I mean, and it's really real. There's so much going on. But the jury deliberation process, okay? We all hear about these trials every day. Some of us get jury summons. Some of us go to trial. Some of us are our own juries. But the high profile cases, it has become one of the most toxic, divisive parts of the actual justice system. And this is true. I mean, for real. Between nonstop social media commentary, political pressure, online harassment, which is happening every day, leaked opinions, which there is a sleuth everywhere. Leaked opinions, 24/7, cable news, speculation. And, many people are now believe that juries are being influenced long before they come up with a verdict. And how could they not be? Really? How in this world in 2026 could you be completely sequestered? Answer that. I dare you. Critics argue that jurors are no longer deciding cases strictly inside the courtroom. They're not. They're dealing with the pressure of the, quote, public opinion, the, quote, viral narratives, and the fear of backlash. And this is where the justice system is failing. It is failing. Legal experts say the problem has intensified quadruple in the last few years. Yes, it has. Because we all know we wake up every day and social media creates trials by the internet before the evidence is ever presented, aka Candace Owens and the rest of the blowhards. Jurors can also be targeted online after verdicts. Political polarization turns court cases into ideological battles. Yes. Freaking yes. And public trust, ladies and gentlemen. And this is not our fault. This is the justice system's fault. The rogue judges. public trust in institutions like rogue judges, for example, continues to decline. It does. But what's the result of this? This is Daryl's opinion. What was once viewed as a quiet civic duty has now become a national flashpoint where every single jury decision is instantly dissected, politicized, polarized, and debated online within not minutes anymore, seconds. Within freaking seconds. So here's a question for y'all, a real question. Can juries still operate fairly in a culture driven by outrage, pressure, and viral influence? Straight up question. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. You tell me. I think also that's the reason why so many people I see online, regular people, they're hardworking folks, just saying, I really need to get out of this jury duty because they don't want to get harassed. They don't want their family to get harassed. They don't want to be all over social media. They don't want to be on cable news. And my question to the justice system and to everybody out there, do you freaking blame them? Probably not. Probably not. There's a lot of people still left in this world that do not want any kind of spotlight. There's some people that love the spotlight, but there's way more people that don't. Way more people that don't. It's been like that my whole life. I've been a musician, always enjoyed the spotlight. But most people absolutely do not. This is just facts. It's not fiction. Just facts, not fiction. Magnolia, Myra. Yes, we're going to definitely be talking about that. We'll talk about it now, as a matter of fact. Tonight is a Hump Day Wednesday. We have the big line dancing party tonight over at Cameron's Garage, located at Cypress Point Resort. No cover charge. Dance lessons plus the line dancing. Listen, this is fun. This is always a great time with a bunch of great people. And really, they know what in the hell they're doing. And even if you don't line dance, maybe you'll want to when you get there, seeing how much fun the people are having. Or maybe you're like me and you just enjoy watching it. Anyway, it makes for a good time. Okay, it makes for a great time. That's the line dancing that happens tonight, Wednesday, May 27th, Cameron's Garage, located at Cypress Point Resort, 6:30-ish. Come on out. It's always fun. Good food, great times, cold drinks, cool people, good times. So we have a listener over in Alabama, too, that we love very much. Big shout out, Annette. With that being said, we're, I don't know, about 6 minutes away from the top of the hour on Unleashed, Uninhibited, Unapologetic, Unleashed Media and Talk. What a mouthful. With Daryl Arnold, 2 R's, 2 L's. We got Russ Man in the house today. We have Stephen SRS, an old friend this morning. Good morning, Terry. Good morning to on YouTube, Maurice checking in from Colorado. We talked about him earlier. We have Illinois. And speaking of Illinois, my God bless Illinois. I mean, God bless you. I don't know what else to say. The blue city of Chicago has been ruined by the last two mayors, completely ran into the ground. It is a nonstop teen, nonstop Antifa, nonstop hoodlums. There was more people killed over the weekend in Chicago alone this past weekend, Memorial Day weekend, than anywhere in the country combined. Okay? Get this place in order. It's because Brandon, the guy's name, the mayor in Chicago, he always, literally always refused to allow this administration to help him. He also did not allow ICE to help him. These are all ignorant, bizarre, non-common sense socialist movements. The government can fix it. No, the government can fix it. Wrong. Your government cannot fix it, apparently. You have done a horrible job. They need to run you out of Chicago on the fastest train out. And you want so much communism, jump on that train and go to a real communist country and see how much you like that. But I'm probably wanting to bet money that you're not going to like it at all. Right, Jim Raspberry checking in. Good morning, sir. But yeah, you're probably not going to like it at all. I'm pretty sure you're going to hate it. Mamdani over in New York City, another loser socialist. Actually, he's not a damn socialist. He's a communist. Start listening closely, and you will figure that out pretty quick. Okay, you will figure that out pretty quick. Well, we are unleashed and we're uninhibited and we're unapologetic on this Wednesday morning, May 27th, 2026. Don't go anywhere.
The party turns up loud in Rankin County's hottest live music spot. Friday, May 29th. Don't miss Lariat bringing their high-energy live show to the big stage. Then Saturday, May 30th, get ready for the ultimate party experience with Misspent Youth live at Cameron's Garage. Cold drinks, great food, and 2 nights of live entertainment at Cameron's Garage, where all your friends are.
Support for these
Summer
programs
has arrived at Cameron's
Electrical
Garage.
Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-7597.
Hey, folks.
You are listening to WPBP 104.3 FM, The Pirate, Pearl, Mississippi.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
And it is the top of the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on the radio, on the live stream, and later on, this and every episode will be uploaded, downloaded immediately after the show to Spotify, Podbean, Apple, iHeartRadio, and iHeartMedia. Acast, which is a Sirius XM, and so much more. We're on all the podcast platforms now, and it's just blowing up on the podcast, and I really appreciate it. Also appreciate all my sponsors. We just heard from Electrical Services and Solutions located in Pearl, Central Mississippi, though. They take care of you, okay? That's Electrical Solutions and Services. Find them on Facebook at Electrical Solutions and Services LLC, and or Google it, and or their website, etc., so on. Good folk right here in Rankin County, ladies and gentlemen. Rankin County, Pearl, Mississippi, the Crossroads. The Crossroads. What a great movie with Ralph Macchio featuring Steve Vai on the guitar. Spencer Pratt. We all have seen the wild videos. This guy has taken Los Angeles by storm, and that's freaking awesome to me, considering I used to live there when they still had some common sense. And Karen Bass, the current mayor, the mayor before her, they've all ruined that. They've all ruined it, including Gavin Newsom. And it's just been ruined by the Democrats, also known as the Democrats, the far left progressives. So Spencer Pratt is going wide open, and I hope he freaking wins. I'm going to love it. And if he doesn't win, he has awakened the giant in the state of California. And he has awakened the scams. And between him and Nick Shirley and everyone else involved, they have awakened what's really been happening to their state for over 20 years. Spencer Pratt was talking to local news in Los Angeles regarding the shelter system, the homeless people. And he's the only one that's had the oranges to go out there and tell them the truth. They don't have a homeless problem. They have a drug problem. Okay, they have drug problems. They have every problem. It's not necessarily just homeless, though. And the current mayor and everyone else before her lately has always used that as an excuse. And also spend that money on their damn selves.
Plans for the over 40,000 homeless in Los Angeles.
Yeah, they're not homeless. They're drug addicts. We have housing and shelter for everyone that's living on the street. They're choosing to be on the street because they want to do drugs. They don't want rules. They don't want to listen. They want to have animals to abuse. These 40,000 people, 60% of them, City Watch just announced this week, are not from Los Angeles. These people have been bussed in by scam rehabs, scam NGOs, scam homeless nonprofits. Yeah. These people, when I unplug them and say, we're not taking our tax money anymore, they're all going to Seattle, where the mayor will welcome them.
What are your plans?
See, the mayor of Seattle will welcome them. I mean, they will welcome them. Because Seattle has been ruined, too. I mean, literally ruined, not just a little bit, but annihilated. Remember, not that long ago, they set up fake little cities, Antifa did, and inside of Seattle, and little blocks where they blocked it off when they were on the big defund the police thing. It happened to defund the police. The police got defunded, and now look at the cesspool. Seattle is a 100% cesspool by horrible politics and, quote, leadership or lack thereof, in my opinion. That's just what's happening. And that road that Seattle has hit that construction point where it's a big trench now, and they have ran into it down in the ditch, is what's going to happen to Los Angeles because it's so close. It's very close. And some people would argue, and they probably have a great argument, that it's already happened. California was such a beautiful state. But when you get lunatic, poor leadership, no common sense, progressives, socialists, communists, just bad people involved, you get bad results. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, you'll keep getting the same results. That's a fact. It's the definition of insanity. We all know that. We all know that. Last night over in Texas, there was a black gentleman that got out to vote for Ken Paxton over there, who, by the way, slammed the rhino John Cornyn. But this black gentleman is basically what he's saying. He's telling all these wannabe, whatever they're calling themselves now, these non-MAGA, quote, Republicans, but they're not really Republicans. They're just fake-ass podcasters / influencers who don't really have the power that they thought they did or think they do. With all these followers, it's not working. This black gentleman put the red hat back on last night, never really took it off, and let everyone know that, hey, MAGA is still just as strong as it was. Because remember, we all voted for Trump, not for those people. We all voted for the things that he's getting done. And then we have the one hiccup. So lighten up, Francis.
I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done. But I am finally taking off the MAGA hat and putting a new one right back on, because when these four clowns, all anti-Trump, from the radical left to the cockroach right, are aligned with you, you have reached the positioning in politics at the peak of the horseshoe theory. People like Thomas Massie started getting popular on the internet, where the most radical voices are the loudest, just to get dragged by his toupee in the primaries. I've been trying to tell y'all that turning on President Trump is not the flex that some of you are pretending that it is. Claiming that MAGA is dead when every clown who switched up on Trump just lost their primaries, while those who supported him won. It shows that the movement is alive at the polls, no matter what your favorite propagandist is trying to say.
That's it. Call them out, baby. Call them out. Dragging Thomas Massie by his toupee. So this makes you want to say, Thomas Massie and his, quote, family, whoever that may be, and Marjorie Trader Green and her family or boyfriend or whatever the hell, they are gone on a trip now out of the country. I bet they have. Because it is stunning the amount of people that read into their BS. And then they both got primaried out, along with over 100 more. Trump's like, 37-0? Come on, y'all. MAGA is not freaking dead. Period. Okay? Stop believing all the controversial, this guy says this chick says that, this person says that. But we're barely getting started. The new MAGA party is barely getting started, people. You don't know? Keep up, catch up. It's just true. People can criticize the hell out of Trump, and in fact, they do, of course. He isn't 100% doing what we all thought, maybe in the same order that we thought, but he is a gazillion times better than any libertarian, any Democrat, or any other Republican at this particular time in history. That's it. It's not about the broken, quote, promises that the Democrats make up. It's about the promises that he's actually done, which you may or may not forget about. And yes, you may get mad when you fill your tank up with gas. Or either you put $40 in and you get, 10 gallons. It sucks. And it sucks for the music business right now, which is a dying business in bigger concerts. The, the blue dot fever, the blue dot scenario, and the blue dots represent the open tickets or the open seats. Now, a lot of that is because of greedy companies like Ticketmaster and Live Nation, of course, overcharging people. And we're not talking about the local places. We're talking about the big places. Okay. But anyway, you wouldn't believe, though, some of the comments that are underneath this black gentleman's post from the ridiculous new, quote, groypers and all those fake right podcasters that are making money off of you because you're clicking. They're making money off the American people because they're clicking. This morning, President Trump said, hey, you know what? I will run rallies in Texas for Ken Paxton. Absolutely, he will. Why? Because he wants to pummel the completely insane far left to the far left liberal James Tallarico. Because if this guy wins, oh my God, Texas and the United States, really, come on. And Trump went on this morning to say, congratulations to Ken Paxton on such a tremendous win, and to John Cornyn for having a strong, powerful race. But more importantly, you had a great career, but it was time for a change. Time for a change. But Ken Paxton, God bless America, from Donald J. Trump. But, Texas, that Al Green guy that tried to impeach Donald Trump every single day that he's been alive in the first presidency and the second presidency. But this guy had been in this, been a representative for 25, 35 years or something, like Benny Thompson from Mississippi. Everything was race related, period. Democrat. Well, he got primaried. Good for him, Al. Loser, complete loser. This is why we need term limits. Ken Paxton is also big time on board. I told y'all I would talk about this a little bit. He is on big time board to get this Save America Act passed. Now, Mitch McConnell, gone. Massey, gone. John Cornyn, gone. Cassidy in Louisiana, gone. John Thune, you're on the chopping block. But here's the situation, and let's just be straight with people. Let's just be really straight with people. These folks that have been primaried out, they're still in office until November for the general election. They're still there till November. Will they be gentlemen, or will they literally not be gentlemen? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. But I do know that never, ever, 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 ever when there's a when there is a midterm from a president, it always switches. One of them does, the House and the Senate. One of them goes Democrat for sure. Most of the time, both. If you have a Republican president, most of the time, both the House and Senate. During the midterms, goes to a Democrat. And this is not something that happens every now and then. This is almost a guarantee every single time. As a matter of fact, it is every time, with the exception of very few, in decade after decade after decade. So no, they're not supposed to win, but I do think we have a shot now because people are so fed up. People are so fed up. You know? David Hall just sent me a text, and this is sad too because Josh Hawley has been one that I always liked. I really did. We need to keep our eyes on him now. I read this story this morning. Senator Hawley gathered and gathered, and he solved absolutely nothing. He was great on the microphone in the courtroom, but he didn't solve anything. It's becoming apparently that he has been swamp bitten. Thanks for the comment, David. Yeah, I saw that. That's unfortunate because I really liked him, and he was all in on the COVID and all in on the ridiculous criminal swamp crap. But now we're finding out that even Hawley is bending the knees for the swamp monsters. You have to think outside of the swamp. When you get to Washington, D.C., you have to think outside of the swamp, and it is not easy. Some people come in with their heart's in the right place, but then they don't think outside of the swamp and they get sucked up by the freaking swamp, swallowed by the swamp. And before you know it, they are a typical swamp monster. With who in mind? Not their people, not their constituents, but their pocketbooks and themselves. Sucked up by not thinking outside of the swamp. It's happened to a lot of people. Some of them started out that way, and some of them didn't. Probably they went there thinking, I'm going to go make this happen and make that happen and all that. Good intentions. All right, we're going for a break at 7:18 in the morning on Wednesday, May 27th, 2026. My name is Daryl Arnold, and you're tuned into the Unleashed, Uninhibited, Unapologetic Media and Talk Show.
Don't forget to check out Cypress Point Resort. Memories are made at Cypress Point. Close to home, yet it feels miles away. At Cypress Point, you can truly get away from it all. You can step back to a simpler time, yet enjoy all the amenities of today. Cameron's Garage is a sports bar and music venue. There's a lunch buffet every day inside Cypress Point. They also have a steakhouse and the Tavern. The Tavern is a quaint little place with live music Wednesday through Saturday. And of course, you've got the Safari Park and Petting Zoo. Don't forget about all the event halls, including the Wedding Chapel and so much more. That's Cypress Point Resort, located at 874 Hollybush Road, Brandon, Mississippi. Contact them at 601-829-1101 or at cypresspointms.com.
Summer has arrived at Cameron's Garage. This weekend, the party turns up loud in Rankin County's hottest live music spot. Friday, May 29th. Don't miss Lariat bringing their high-energy live show to the big stage. Then Saturday, May 30th, Get ready for the ultimate party experience with Misspent Youth live at Cameron's Garage. Cold drinks, great food, and 2 nights of live entertainment at Cameron's Garage, where all your friends are.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
If you or a loved one need reliable medical equipment, trust a name Mississippi has depended on for over 20 years. Mobility Medical, located right in Flowood, is your local family-owned source for mobility and home healthcare solutions. From power wheelchairs and scooters to lift chairs that help you relax in comfort, they've got everything you need to stay independent and live better every day. Need help at home? Mobility Medical offers hospital beds, tables, and essential supplies, and more. What sets them apart? It's their personalized service. Their experienced team works one-on-one with you to find the right equipment. Serving all of Mississippi and beyond with in-store support and delivery options available. Mobility Medical, helping you move better, live better, and stay independent. Visit them today in Flowood or call to learn more.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
Still unapologetic, uninhibited, and unleashed on a Wednesday morning, hump day, middle of the week. A lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. My Lord, it's always so much going on. Always so much going on. So over the weekend, and it rolled all the way up till last night, and it's probably still rolling today, ICE law enforcement officers are continued to being assaulted by anti-ICE rioters. So law enforcement is now using a chemical substance. Excuse me. The riot people are using a, quote, unknown, let's rephrase that. The ICE rioters, the people that are against, keyword against ICE, keyword against common sense, are using an unknown chemical substance now against ICE. 2 individuals were arrested just last night, resisting and impeding federal officers, assaulting and obstructing ICE. Law enforcement is a crime and a felony. Learn it. Put these people in jail. Anyone who assaults, period, law enforcement will be fullest extent of the law. Okay. That's right. You will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That came from Secretary Mullins' direct X Twitter account last night, late last night. But that's the truth, y'all. We can remember, my generation can remember, and probably even the new generation can remember. Wasn't that long ago, when we were a country of law and order, ladies and gentlemen, and we didn't put up with this BS. I mean, it's just true. We just didn't put up with it, and that's just a fact. Make an exclusion zone 500 yards in every direction from the facility and charge felonies for trespassing and obstruction. That's a message to me. Wow. That might be the best idea I've heard today. Make an exclusion zone 500 yards in every direction from the facility and charge felonies and trespassing and obstruction charges. Yes. I mean, that's true. When protesters are running, basically, the roadblock and inspecting vehicles and exiting and leaving the facility to determine whether that you can pass by them or not, what kind of damn country are we in? Seriously, what kind of country have we become? It's no longer just breaking the law. It's impeding the law from doing their job. Okay? It is impeding them from doing their job. Now, as you know, a whole new batch of documents were released. They've been dripping out, but they've released a whole new batch of documents concerning aliens, UFOs, UAPs, and they're leaving it up to the public, which they should, but no telling what they're still hiding. But the Pentagon's UFO investigator, the Pentagon, I remember this, it was only a year or two ago. And he said this in an hearing, an open hearing that you can go back and watch. But this batch of documents confirms what he said, that the United States Pentagon and the United States of America possesses non-human material. Now, I'm not saying you have to believe any of this. I'm not even saying I believe all of it. But for 60 years they've been hiding all this from us? Why? Why?
Are in possession of these crafts? What are we doing with them?
Yeah, Jesse, thanks for having me. I did testify in 2024 in November for the record and under oath that our government is in possession of material, exotic material that is not ours and possibly originates from somewhere else. And then I was also followed by other folks as well in later testimony who have discussed non-biological remains that were biological remains, non-human biological remains that were retrieved from some of these crashes.
So when you, I guess, were speaking to these people that talked about non-human biological remains, what did they describe?
Well, Jesse, to be honest with you, when I was at the Pentagon and I was part of the Pentagon's UFO investigation team called ATIP, I was more of a nuts and bolts guy. We did have experts, scientists, and medical doctors that were looking into the biologic aspects. And by the way, this goes way back, way before my time even. We're talking literally the late 1940s. And if you look at this latest document drop and video drop that this administration has authorized for release, there is an absolute treasure trove of information contained in this second tranche of information.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter if you believe, if I believe, or if anybody believes. There's something up with it, okay? When the government hides something from you for 60 plus years, something is up. May not be an alien, but it's something that they will go just about to any level to hide, okay? any level to hide. So, breaking this morning, Karen Bass, the current mayor of Los Angeles, the city of angels, guilty of a misdemeanor. Mayoral challenger, we were just discussing him earlier, Spencer Pratt, is accusing the mayor of Los Angeles of breaking the election law. And Spencer Pratt filed a formal complaint after Bass posted a campaign video showing her dropping off ballots to and with her voters. That's illegal. Spencer Pratt released the following statement regarding the complaint this morning on Wednesday, May 27, 2026. Karen Bass just violated the election law here in California. She is so accustomed to breaking the law with no accountability, she even filmed herself doing it. What an idiot. Well, those days are over. We just filed a formal complaint for illegally gaming the election. We must protect the Constitution and the democracy. Yeah, well, I'm sure. Electioneering, ing, within 100 feet of a ballot box is against the law. Soliciting votes at a ballot box is against the law. These clear violations show a reckless disregard for the rule of law and the democratic process. Someone in position of power should be especially respectful to our democratic laws. But this is just common of the Karen's mafia-like regime. It's rules for thee, but not for me. I don't know, but there's an official formal complaint filed this morning, so hopefully this gets upheld or something. Because the former reality star Spencer Pratt is probably running the best type campaign I've ever seen run, except Trump's. This video right here shows Karen Bass giving out ballots to people to vote. You can't do that. These people are such idiots. Such foolishness. I mean, just wild. I mean, it's just wild. It's just wild that people have lost their mind with common sense. Anyway, she's an idiot. If the people in California are completely that stupid, then they deserve her. I mean, I'm sorry, but they do. You keep dealing with the same kind of people, you're going to keep getting the same results. We say it over and over in life, on this show, and anything else you might do in life. Now, if you think that the school systems have gotten it all together all of a sudden, you're wrong. But has it gotten better? Yeah, of course it has. Why? Because Trump's the president and they have hammered down on the nonsense. But a former superintendent of one of the largest school systems in the entire country is now exposing the entire, nationwide, the entire education system. And it's pretty wild, okay? It's pretty wild that all this is still going on right now. It's still freaking going on now. And what the left, the progressives have done over the last 15 to 20 years is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable for your grandkids.
Protesting ICE. Why do we have high school kids saying the most heinous things about police officers? Where did this come from? It didn't happen by accident, folks. This is very intentional.
Ryan Walters, you did leave the system. Why did you leave?
I left the system to make a bigger impact in fighting the teachers' unions that were fighting us every step of the way.
Right here in the NEA's agenda, will teach and train the teachers how to defy even Supreme Court decisions.
The left decided to weaponize our education system to say, if we control what young people think, we win.
Why are the standards being lowered?
If you're a governor, you want me to tell you one thing that makes you look good? When all the scores go up.
So you just lower the goals so that you can show that your scores are high?
We could have a 100% graduation rate tomorrow. Lower the standards dramatically, right? Everybody graduates. We've got to push back against a system that is undermining our kids' future.
Yes. Absolutely. 100%. Okay. Yeah. I have a smart ass reply from some loser named Ashley. She said, I guess prayer in schools is not indoctrination. Your opinion. You have the right to your opinion. But whatever. I have the right to mine. You have the right to change the channel. And you might want to, because apparently you may be a Christian hater. I don't know. I don't know. But he is right, in my opinion. Okay? He is right. And David said, hey, I worked in the school system, a very small school system, for many, many years, but not as a teacher, but as a maintenance man, a groundskeeper, a mechanic. I pay close attention to what's going on around me. And there's been a huge difference between the educators that were, quote, pro-teachers union and those who were, quote, not. It's amazing how fast you can tell who was and who wasn't. And my conclusion is the school just wanted the scores to look better. So the school would be eligible, excuse me. So the school would have eligibility, rather. The school would have eligibility for more state funding. Am I correct? In some cases, you probably are. Thanks for the message, by the way. That message was brought to you by YouTube. And we're going to sponsor that message with electrical services and solutions in Pearl, Mississippi. But it's the truth. Jim Raspberry said Texas has got to do something about the radical Muslim takeover. It really does. It's completely insane. I cannot believe it. I lived in Dallas for a while. But the radical Muslim takeover of the state, or it's going to resemble Minnesota shortly. Look, they've been going after Texas because it's the largest state for quite a while, and they have slowly but surely snuck up on us right now. For real. Good morning to Alan McCrory out there listening, Melanie out there listening, Kristen out there listening. But yeah, they've snuck up on us. Time's flying when you're having fun. 7:40 in the morning, unleashed, uninhibited, unapologetic. My name is Daryl Arnold. You have tuned into the Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. 2 R's, 2 L's. Also, the podcast will be up later. All that good stuff. We're going to hear from our sponsors and be right back with you till we land this plane.
Support for these programs comes from Electrical Solutions and Services in Pearl, Mississippi, providing licensed electrical contracting services throughout Mississippi for commercial, industrial, and residential projects. Also installations, system upgrades, troubleshooting, and emergency electrical repairs. As certified installers for Tesla, charging systems, and a certified dealer for Generac backup power solutions, their team delivers safe, code-compliant workmanship with a commitment to precision and integrity. They are veteran-owned. Their phone number is 769-572-7597.
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Power 104.3, The Pirate. The Pirate is the heartbeat of Pearl. The Pirate.
Every program in the Next ecosystem is designed to meet people where they are and take them where they want to go, in technology and in life. Mississippi Coding Academies is a nonprofit that bridges the digital divide, delivering accessible, affordable, and life-changing technology education across the globe. Funded by grants and donations that are truly making an impact at home and abroad. Learn coding, cybersecurity, and so much more with locations around the state of Mississippi. Go to mscoding.org today and go to your next level.
Welcome back to the Unleashed Media and Talk Show with Daryl Arnold. And yes, he's still unapologetic.
All right, welcome. We've all made it halfway through the week. It is Wednesday. Going to be a short week, 7:42 in the morning. May 27th, y'all. The year's 2026. Time's flying when we're having fun. Correct? Correct. We have talked about so many subjects today. It's rather insane. But there is so much going on in the country, in the world, in the state, in the region, and everywhere else. It's hard to get it all in. Really is. It's real hard. Some kind of weird ass story yesterday. I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard of Havana syndrome. It's real. And the military's involved somehow, but I don't know how. But a reporter who investigated Jeffrey Epstein is fleeing the United States after alleged direct energy weapons attack. That's what they call that. A direct energy weapons attack. So she said, we wasted no time in leaving the house for good. I don't know if I believe in all that, but I would haul booty too. The journalist who reported extensively on Jeffrey Epstein for years, especially on his notorious New Mexico ranch, is fleeing the country, claiming she was the victim of direct energy weapons attacks over the coverage that she did. Now, I don't know if that's true, but it appears that my home has been located by, whomever is unhappy about my reporting about the, quote, Zorro Ranch. And the local cover up here and the military intelligence routes of the, quote, sex trafficking operation is running wide open in New Mexico, she says. Allegedly. Of course, this is her saying this, not me. Her. She said, we wasted no time getting out of here. And this supposedly is this direct energy weapon, which, causes the quote Havana syndrome, which is pretty nasty from what I understand. Pretty nasty from what I understand. I'm not, The second round of attacks seemed to have come back from a large semi truck that parked across from my house, she went on to wrote. These devices have gotten smaller and smaller, like just the size of a small handgun. She further claimed that the operators could generate a 3D model of the inside of your house in real time and zero in on a body part. The former newspaper reporter also compared her condition to, like I said, Havana syndrome, the controversial, still disputed, by the way, cluster of neurological complaints that were first reported in the United States that were stationed in Cuba in 2016. Those officials reported headaches, ringing in the ears, dizziness, nausea, cognitive issues especially, and sensations of pressure inside your head. U.S. intelligence agencies have spent years investigating whether the symptoms were caused by, quote, microwave or so-called directed energy attacks carried out by foreign people. Well, it's a weird story. Weird story. Not saying I believe it, but it's definitely a weird story. Anywho, that's that. We have a bunch of weird stories nowadays because we have so many weird things happening nowadays. I mean, like bizarre, really bizarre, weird things happen nowadays. Andy Gibson, one of only a couple of folks that have come out and taken on running for governor for the state of Mississippi. He did an interview with the Magnolia Tribune. Great interview. I'm not going to read all of it, but you should. Magnolia Tribune is an organization right here in Mississippi. He said, one of the reasons that I'm running for governor is we have lost the connection between our state officials and the hardworking, regular, real folks of Mississippi. Andy Gibson said when he was on the interview with Magnolia Tribune, I've seen it. I've watched it happen in my career, and I'm sick of it. Well, so are we, Andy. So are we, Mr. Gibson. We are too. We are too. And Andy launched his bid for governor last year, becoming the first person to pull his sleeves up and announce that and threw his hat in the ring. He said he launched the campaign in June of 2025, so really a year ago. People started asking for yard signs really early, and I've gone ahead and got them and given them to folks when they see me. Those Gibson for Governor signs can be seen across the Magnolia State, many, very many, in rural areas. And the current agriculture commissioner spends much of his time in those areas. He said there's a, quote, lot of grassroots support out there among people across. I believe that. Andy Gibson's a good man. I certainly believe that. And who is Andy Gibson? Again, this is information I'm quoting for an article in the Magnolia Tribune. He served as Mississippi Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce since 2018, leading the statewide Department of Agriculture. He was appointed to this position by Governor Phil Bryant. After then, quote, Agriculture Commission Cindy Hyde Smith was appointed to Bryant to fill the United States Senate seat that was vacated by former Senator Thad Cochran. And then, of course, Andy Gibson ran for a full 4-year term in 2019, winning the race with 58% of the vote. So, and prior to the agricultural background in the agriculture commissioner, he served as Mississippi House of Representatives for nearly a decade, winning the House seat. In 2007, he is a farmer and a securities attorney and a minister. And he sings a little music. Andy Gibson is a good man. I'll just leave it at that. He is a good man. Anyway, Jerry said vote blue. Yeah, right. Go away. Go away. But I will tell you this, if the Republicans in Mississippi don't get off your butts, we're going to lose the midterms, okay? It's a fact. If you don't bring up the percentage of people that actually show up to vote, really, I mean, you've got to start caring about the future. Because I can tell you, and you must believe me, that the Democrats will all get in line and they will vote. They will vote. They will vote. And I'm so sick of the nonsense I see online about Jackson Dart, who's at a Trump event. Give me a break. I love Jackson Dart. Not ashamed to say it. And his jerseys are selling more than ever now for all of you bedwetters out there. All of you Democrat bedwetters. He's going to be thanking you at the bank account. Boomer Esiason annihilates. And I mean, I'm glad that Boomer's standing up for this. But Boomer Esiason torched Abdul Carter. Only one man was on that call, and it was Jackson Dart. But anyway, what a great response from Boomer Esiason, a mainstream guy.
Error on the part of Abdul Carter, not on the part of Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart was asked to do something to introduce the president of the United States. How many people get an opportunity to do something like that, regardless of who the president is? You may not like, you may have hated Barack Obama. You may have hated Joe Biden. You know, and some guys didn't want to go to the White House because they didn't like those presidents, just like other guys didn't want to go to the White House because they didn't like President Trump. You know, but to put this out like a child on social media is ridiculous. And then when I heard, yeah, we spoke man to man. Yeah, there was only one man on that call, and that was Jackson Dart. You were a man who was late to meetings. You were a man who didn't live up to your draft choice. You're a man who wanted to wear number 56. And by the way, your idol, number 56, has introduced Donald Trump numerous times. So I don't want to hear this. So he made another just boneheaded error by going to social media.
Boneheaded. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on in the NFL. And then they wonder why people don't watch anymore, why their numbers are down. Their numbers are down. And I hate that because Jackson Dart, what a great guy. What a great quarterback. To come in his rookie year last year and look like a pro already. But I'm glad he's ignoring the noise. I'm glad he is ignoring all of that and make that money off of your jersey sales, buddy. Because the real American people are supporting you, not the far left lunatics. not the far left lunatics. Because believe me, the war on common sense is out there. They are beating people down with this crazy war that they started, by the way, on common sense. The full-on progressive left Democrat Party started the war on common sense, and that's just a fact. They did it. In modern America today, there was a time, though, in America not that long ago when common sense did not need a press conference. Remember? Of course you do. They didn't need a political campaign for common sense or a courtroom defense. No. And it was simply understood back then also that men are men and women are women. Parents were responsible for their own freaking children. Criminals were supposed to be punished. Remember that? Work was better than welfare. That's how we were raised. Truth mattered. The flag was respected. Faith was honored. Freedom came with responsibility, and government existed to, quote, protect liberty, not replace personal duty. But somewhere along the way, America began to drift from the simple truths. You know, there were a lot of, quite frankly, simple truths that built this nation. And they just started to drift from that. We have watched a war develop among all of us, and that war is against common sense. It's a cultural battle that we talk about every day on this show. It's not just political disagreement. It's a culture war. And since we're running out of time, I'm going to leave you with this quote regarding this, actually. George Washington warned in his first presidential address that could not be expected on a nation that disregards the external rules of order and right. He also said that the sacred fire of liberty and the future of the, quote, Republican government were entrusted to the hands of the American people. In other words, liberty was not automatic. It had to be guarded by the people who understood right from wrong. And this is where common sense begins, ladies and gentlemen. This is where common sense starts. Truth exists, whether you freaking vote for it or not. Okay? The truth is still there. Even if it's an unpopular or popular opinion, the truth is still there. So common sense says parents have the first responsibility of raising their children. Schools should educate, not indoctrinate. Teachers should partner with parents, not freaking replace them. No government official, school board, or activist organization has a greater claim over your kids than you, the mother and father. So John Adams understood the connection between liberty and character. He wrote this: the preservation of liberty depends upon the intellectual and moral character of the people. Right. We're going to end it on that, on a John Adams quote. And why not? Had a great time as usual. Unleashed, uninhibited, unapologetic. My name is Daryl Arnold. You can check out all the podcasts at Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold. And when you put in Unleashed Media and put the and sign, Unleashed Media and Talk with Daryl Arnold, DARRELLARNOLD. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays on the radio, live, YouTube live, Facebook live, all that good stuff. And I'll be back on Friday for the weekend coming up edition because this is a short week. My name is Daryl. See you.
Thank you all for tuning in. Hashtag unfiltered, hashtag unapologetic, America First Talk at its best, where we party the right way. See you next time. Or